5 nights today and get one free, plus $350 towards shopping, dining, or other fun activities. Now that's Virgin Islands nice.
So nice, so...
In a matter of seconds, your life can change.
Where kids still went to school.
And it just hit us.
This was it.
The Weather Channel's most watched original program is back.
Things were just going everywhere. It was a nightmare. And then it was silent.
This is just the beginning of what's to come.
All right, taking a look at Dorchester, Massachusetts, Ride to End Alzheimer's happening today. We do have some showers, locally heavy at times. It's moving on, but eventually by this afternoon, you'll see some cloudy skies. And of course, it's raising funds and awareness for the Alzheimer's Associations. Held annually on the summer solstice, the duration of this Sunrise to Sunset event symbolizes the very challenging journey of those living with the disease and their caregivers.
And that is why we are wearing purple today. And yeah, we had a little debate earlier that I'm wearing purple and you're wearing purple?
Purple. Well, next to you, it looks more blue than purple, but in my closet by myself, it looks like it's purple, but I'm definitely supporting.
It's like that dress. Is it blue and gold or black and blue?
Yeah. But I'm wearing in solidarity and bringing awareness. So we are wishing everyone well for that event in Massachusetts. Now let's bring you the wonder of weather. This happens to be, I think, my favorite of the morning because you've got the moon, Venus, and Jupiter there on the left, and you've even got a little plane streak there with this long exposure photograph, but of course the magnificent storm cloud.
Yeah, and also DC got rocked by storms last night. Look at this lightning bolt pretty close to the National Cathedral here, and we had a stormy night from about, say, dinner time on through about midnight. We were rocking and rolling in the Mid-Atlantic.
And hashtag it is amazing out there. Creek Stewart and the gang, they're back for season 2 of Fat Guys in the Woods.
And you've got to eat some pretty disgusting things to survive out in the wilderness, and here's a preview from tonight's episode.
Dude, don't let it.
We got a live scorpion.
Don't let it go. Don't let it run.
Oh my God.
Is that food? Absolutely, man. This is dinner right here. Hold on.
Hold him right there.
He's trying like hell to sting that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's stinging it.
This is like
right
hardcore
there. There you go.
bro.
There you go.
I've never seen a scorpion a day in my life. It was kind of awesome and also kind of terrifying at the same time.
An all-new season of Fat Guys in the Woods tonight at 9 for a new episode, only right here on the Weather Channel.
And it looks like we're about to put on a couple of fat anchors in the studio right now, but we're doing this, putting on some pounds for a very good cause.
Yes, we're celebrating Father's Day, of course, and the first day of summer. Actually, how cool is this? Reddi-wip has created 14 over-the-top Sundays to celebrate every weekend through the summer months. Since it's Father's Day, Paul, you go first. Tell us which one you picked for your favorite.
I actually picked this one, which is the bourbon peanut butter, but I didn't know about the donut sundae. I mean,
well, let's just read this. Okay, the crunchy bourbon peanut butter sundae. Whisk a shot of bourbon into hot fudge and drizzle on butter pecan ice cream and peanut-filled pretzel nuggets. I'm crying. It's so great. I happen to pick kind of a standard Rocky Road in a waffle cup.
I see that.
I go old school,
I will
so
give
there's
you
marshmallow.
yours.
Thank you.
And I'm going to take a half a donut because it's with whipped cream, ice cream, and Oreos. You guys have a great Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Currently in our area, 88 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Today, mostly sunny. High 91, winds east at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight, a few passing clouds. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. Low 78. Monday, sun and a few passing clouds. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 91. Here's our 7-day outlook.
welcome to Weather Geeks, and we are in part 2 of our Severe Weather Roundtable. If you didn't catch part 1, it'll be on our website soon. I'm joined by Rick Smith, the Warning Coordination Meteorologist from the National Weather Service in Norman, Oklahoma, Chesley McNeil from 11 Alive News here in Atlanta, one of the top meteorologists in the market, and John Trostel, the Director of the Severe Storm Research Center at Georgia Tech Research Institute. Thank you all for joining us.
Good to be here.
Now, on this part 2, we want to really get into some of the communication issues surrounding severe weather, the things that just keep coming up in discussions. So we wanted to have people from different parts of the weather enterprise to discuss these. And I want to throw a grenade right out there into the mix. Watch versus warning. Now, I have students, I have people on Facebook tell me that it's confusing. Some people say a watch warning is just counterintuitive, the words sound too much alike. But yet there are others that say, well, those things have been saving lives for decades. What are your thoughts? I want to come to Chesley on this one first. What are your thoughts on watch versus warning? Is it confusing?
Well, we do our best to try to explain over and over, and people hear it often, especially when it comes to severe weather season. You're talking about tornado warnings, watches, severe thunderstorm warnings, watches. But I don't know that it's not catchy enough. Right. I think a lot of people don't really understand the differences, and you'd be surprised in a market like Atlanta where we receive a lot of severe weather. You would think that with watches and warnings and tornadoes and severe thunderstorms, people would get it. We know they don't get it with when it comes to winter weather.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
Throwing advisories.
Oh, snowpocalypse. Yes.
But again, getting the information out there as clear as possible and as often as possible, I think, is key.
Yeah, and I think there is some regionality to that. I hear colleagues out in Norman say, well, people out here understand that, but I don't know if that's necessarily the case. Do you think there's some regional? What are your warning coordination meteorologist? You interact with the public. Is it confusing?
It is confusing. I think it is regional. I think maybe in the plain states where they're subjected to it and grow up hearing it in school, and the TV meteorologists, there may be a bigger percentage of people out there that understand it, but there's other issues with it too. I mean, there's people that are confused about the process. They see a hurricane watch become a hurricane warning. Well, they think there has to be a tornado watch before there can ever be a tornado warning. Right. Or there was a tornado and it was only a severe thunderstorm warning. So I think there's, in our area especially, it gets a little bit deeper than that. It gets into the confusion about what the sequence of products is, what should it always be a watch before a warning, and it just doesn't work like that.
Yeah, we saw that in Atlanta with the big snow jam of a few years ago. People were confused about going from a watch to an advisory. They thought that was a downgrade in some regards. John, what are your thoughts on watch versus warning?
Well, I think we've talked about this before. We have family members even who are confused by it.
Absolutely.
I asked my wife the other day, what's the difference between a watch and a warning? And I know that I've talked to her a lot about it, and she's confused. And I think the terms themselves are too similar. They're too much the same. I mean, and we've had these discussions online and with other colleagues that, maybe there's a better way to say this, like tornado possible, and then tornado detected. Right. Something that's very, very clear. I mean, why are we using these terms that are a little bit wishy-washy?
Yeah, and I think, and I'm certainly not going to change the world here on Weather Geeks, but I definitely know that my daughter, one of her friends said she thought that tornado watch means she's watching the tornado, and the warning means it's coming. So I think it's interesting to see that. But you often see, and you guys put out these emergencies or tornado sort of add extra enhancement to warnings. Does that help in any way, or is that?
I think it helps, but you can't do it too much. I think you have to, it has to be break the glass and two people turn a key to launch the missile kind of thing. It has to be, we really mean it. Back during May, we issued our first ever flash flood emergency. We had never done that before. That's been in our toolbox for a while.
What does it mean? I mean, so people, you don't issue it oftentimes, so that could be an issue if people aren't hearing that often. They were like, okay, what does that mean?
I think to the normal person, they don't know what it means. I actually had to look up the definition of it myself because the TV meteorologists were asking us in chat.
Meteorologists in the world. I'm giving you your props.
The value of it is,
had to look it up.
The first time we did that for Oklahoma City, all the TV meteorologists went, oh my gosh, they've never done this before. And that was the impact of that first tornado emergency back in May of 1999. It must really be bad because they've never done this before. I think that's the value, and the value is not us telling the general public, it's getting the information people like Chesley who can interpret that and tell people what it means.
But now how do you avoid it getting oversaturated or getting overused too. I mean, that would be my worry with the tornado emergencies.
That's a huge challenge.
That's a great point, right. And from a perspective of someone who maybe doesn't hear that often, do you, as he say, oh wow, that must mean it's really bad, or do you get confused because you don't hear it often?
Well, you know, research has been done that, you know, people obviously go to TV for their watches and mornings, and you'd be surprised, but most people, according to the research, they say they listen to the tone. If I'm a little bit more urgent, they'll get a little more urgent. If I'm a little more laid back about it, then they'll be laid back about it. So if I'm just like, oh, it's a tornado emergency, you know, then they'll say, okay, maybe it's not as, you know, severe. But if I'm, you know, and some people will just do that, obviously, which gets into a whole nother issue.
Well, that's, you know, Brad Panovich was on Weather Geeks, and he talked about when he sort of shows concern or mentions warning his family as someone, as a father, people sort of, oh, if he's worried, then I'm worried.
Absolutely.
But is there the danger of a television meteorologist overhyping or overselling or even misguiding on the information? I mean, how do you draw that fine line? Because you've got different people in different markets saying different things.
Right. It all comes down to interpretation. Obviously, we all interpret the weather differently on a day-to-day basis. You know, but it could be someone's personality. When they're talking about the weather, they want to get the information out. They just want to tell you about this particular situation. And where you may have another person that's a little bit more laid back. It comes down to the viewer style and what the viewers are comfortable with. But inflection is very important when it comes to severe weather versus just a regular weather day.
John, let's say right now there's a tornado warning in this area where we're filming. Should each television meteorologist in that market be using the same color system, the same terms, or is that something we just can't control?
We can't control it, but it would be good to have consistency of messaging from platform to platform, from venue to venue. But I don't know that you can, that you can ever achieve that. It's something that you'd have to do by mutual agreement.
Yeah, Rick, jump in there.
We see that over and over in studies and social science and all the different social sciences that are out there. People don't usually rely on just one piece of weather information. They're flipping the channels. They're looking at different Twitter feeds or Facebook pages. So the more unified the message is, and the more, if they flip to 3 or 4 different channels, they're getting the same message as they're getting from the Weather Service. I think that helps to confirm the threat in people's minds, but I don't know any way to really standardize it across the board.
Yeah, and that's a good point. But one of the things I will say is that be careful using your weather apps and the emojis. In evolving weather situations, they're not always the best thing. And that really sets us up for our next segment on Weather Geeks, because we're going to talk about social media, the emergence of social media and communications and social sciences in severe weather, next on Weather Geeks.
Everyone loves lazy summer days, but exciting summer days are even better. During the Ready Set Summer Sales Event, get a 5-year warranty or save up to $1,000.
Routine. It's a hard thing to break. Day in, day out, from point A to B and back again. There's a difference between being alive and living. For those who can't imagine life without 2 wheels, Allstate offers a genuine parts guarantee that promises to fix your bike with original parts. Talk to an Allstate agent about all the things they do to keep riders riding.
Bridgestone's revolutionary drive car tires are engineered to take a puncture and drive up to 50 miles on a flat.
I feel unstoppable, like a superhero.
With a sidekick.
Yeah, you're my sidekick, right, bud?
No.
Okay.
Episode of Fat Guys in the Woods, tonight at 9 on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 88 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Today, mostly sunny. High 91, winds east at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight, a few passing clouds. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. Low 78. Monday, sun and a few passing clouds. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 91. Here's our 7-day outlook.
The Weather Channel's most watched original program,
And it just hit us.
is back.
This is just the beginning of what's to come.
Can a protein originally found in a jellyfish improve your memory? Our scientists say yes. Researchers have discovered a protein that actually supports healthier brain function. It's the breakthrough in a supplement called Prevagen. As we age, we lose proteins that support our brain. Prevagen supplements these proteins and has been clinically shown to improve memory. It's safe and effective. For support of healthier brain function, a sharper mind, and clearer thinking, try Prevagen for yourself today.
Want the best vision under the sun? Xperio UV superior polarized sun lenses eliminate 100% of blinding reflective glare and offer maximum UV protection. Ask for Xperio UV in your prescription for the best vision under the sun.
Dads who would do anything for golf deserve a store that would do anything for dads. Visit Golfsmith for the best Father's Day gifts at the guaranteed lowest prices. Golfsmith, anything for golf.
A little prep goes a long way with Scotch Blue Painter's Tape. The one with 3M adhesive technology for less paint bleed through and amazing results so you can forget about the redo. Pull off a better paint job with Scotch Blue Painter's Tape.
And welcome back to Weather Geeks. I'm here with 3 experts, and we're talking severe weather. And, look, we've termed social meteorologists on this show because there's so much information out there on social media. Rick, you use social media. You're the master of it, I think, in terms of the National Weather Service, at least. What's your philosophy?
We think it's a tool to get the weather information out to as many different people as possible. If we get a warning to one person, they take action, or they share a post with a family member who takes action, then we've done our job. But it's it's not all fun and games. There's people out there that are making it more complicated. There's people that are.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Well, there are. Well, we don't have enough time, but there are different. There's people out there who are meteorologists who are putting out conflicting information. People that aren't meteorologists putting out conflicting information. And again, people looking for that consistent message. Sometimes they don't know what to do when they see, well, this guy is saying it's going to be the worst tornado outbreak since the beginning of time, and the other 3 guys are saying nothing. So it's given us a lot more opportunities, a lot more venues to talk about weather information, but it's also opened up the door to get a lot of misinformation in there and some bad stuff going on too.
I would agree with that. And by the way, I want to mention that Rick Smith is also a part of the legendary Weather Brains crew, and I'm pretty sure that you guys have talked about some of these issues. Make sure you're checking out Weather Brains. It's an excellent show on Mondays on your web and on podcast as well. What are your thoughts, Chesley? What are your thoughts on social media?
Rick doesn't want to say it. I'll say it.
Okay, please.
There's a lot of false prophets out there, man. There's a lot of false prophets out there. A lot of people just have opinions about storms, what's going to happen, and they just throw it out there on social media. There's really no regulating what goes out, especially when it comes to severe weather or any kind of weather situation. And so you get a lot of people just putting information out, and people will call them on it. They'll say, well, you said this, but I got this guy saying this, and I'm saying, okay, well, who is this guy? Right. And so you really got to vet your information, especially when it comes to social media.
Like anything else on the internet, everybody has the platform, so we really need to look and the sources that you get, and the National Weather Service is usually my go-to source because they're the authorities.
Well, and I think another angle to this is people are getting to see the behind the scenes of how the forecasts are made.
Right.
You see this one panel of the GFS model 120 hours from now. Used to, we would be the only people that would see it, and we'd think about it and weigh if that was going to happen or not. Now it's just like everything is out there for everybody to see, and it just opens the door for lots of things.
Yeah, I mean, and there's a lot of medical information out there too, but I certainly don't feel comfortable diagnosing my mom's ailment. So I think there is a reason that there's expertise. I mean, it's certainly hobbyists and they're amateurs that certainly know this stuff as well. So we're not discouraging anyone, but I think we do have to be kind of wary of that. And people like the NWA and AMS have been looking at things like digital seals to kind of help sift through the noise, if you will, and find the true signal in social media. Now, again, you all communicate and deal and interacting with the public or with other colleagues, social sciences is becoming a big part of sort of warning. I mean, we're pretty good with the meteorology these days, but how people consume that information, the psychology of how they use colors. I mean, anybody have any thoughts on that? Just something I want to throw it out there.
I think it's the Wild West of meteorology now. I mean, that's getting the message, the right message to the right people in a timely manner so that they see it is not meteorology at all. It's like you say, it's psychology and sociology. But if we don't get that part right, then we miss the warnings that we should be putting out there.
We have a certain viewership or a certain area we're trying to meet, and so we try to make it simple. We try to make it easy to understand, and so you get things like what we would have the Wizometer to simplify your life, or the Torcon.
Okay, and I want to pick it up after that. After the break, we're going to talk about tornado sirens and other things in severe weather. Next.
In a world of fake, fried, and frozen, Boston Market promises to make food good. Like our all-natural rotisserie chicken. Now, meals start at just $6.99. Boston Market, all good.
6 smoky hours, 1 tasty dish, slow-braised pulled pork, now at Boston Market.
My feet felt so heavy at the end of the day.
They used to get really tired.
Until I started gelling.
I got Dr. Scholl's massaging gel insoles.
When they're in my shoes, my feet and legs feel less tired.
It's like walking on a wave.
Dr. Scholl's massaging gel insoles.
I'm a believer.
Walmart's low prices every day, it's not just about having more savings, it's about having more fun. Great get-togethers start with low prices you can trust every day.
Amore.
Subito.
The all-new Fiat 500X crossover, featuring an available Uconnect system with a 6.5-inch touchscreen and available all-wheel drive. Well-rounded, has never looked so sharp.
Attention, did you or anyone in your household work around asbestos-containing gaskets and packing? The Garlock bankruptcy may affect your rights even if you do not in industrial and maritime settings where steam, hot liquid, or acid moved in pipes. Certain personal injury claims must be filed by October 6, 2015. You may have a right to vote on Garlock's plan to reorganize and pay claims. Call 844-GARLOCK or go to garlocknotice.com.
Glad you're with us right here on AMHQ, the whole team.
Right, either go all in or just tap out.
Here we go. I told you, we're going to bust out of this drought.
As we say, keep watching with us this morning because we're all watching history happen together.
Replacing old drain lines used to mean tearing up floors and walls and digging a huge trench in your house, but not anymore. Now there's trenchless drain line repair. Our trenchless pipelining method creates a new permanent pipe inside the existing pipe. A liner saturated with epoxy is inserted into the pipe. A bladder is inflated until the epoxy hardens to form a new pipe inside the old pipe. It's removed and the pipe is ready for use, better than new. Need a drain line repair? Go trenchless. Call Quick Plumbers today.
Get excited for the 1989 World Tour. With exclusive behind-the-scenes footage, all of Taylor Swift's music videos, interviews, and more, Xfinity is the destination for all things Taylor Swift.
Live. A new episode of Fat Guys in the Woods, tonight at 9 on the Weather Channel.
In a matter of seconds, your life can change.
We had kids still into school.
And it just hit us.
This was it.
The Weather Channel's most watched original program is back.
Things were just going everywhere. It was a nightmare. And then it was silent.
just the beginning of what's to come.
Currently in our area, 85 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Today, abundant sunshine. High 91. Winds east at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight, a few passing clouds. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. Low 78. Monday, partly cloudy skies. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 91. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Why in the world are we using World War I technology in 2014? You can't hear them inside a building. You can't hear them in the studio. You can't hear them in a school. You can't hear them in a church. You can't hear them in a business. And yet it seems like most of the population thinks you're going to hear one of these things.
The legendary James Mann, he certainly doesn't have any opinions on this, right? Chesley, you had some thoughts on whether this is an old school, new school thing in terms of tornado sirens?
Well, I think I agree with James. I think it is a very old school thing. I go to schools to talk to kids all the time, and you know, they like sirens. What's the siren about? And the world has gotten noisy. I mean, quite frankly.
Yeah, how many people pay attention to a car alarm these days, right?
Absolutely. A siren going by, fire engine, that kind of thing. You know, it just kind of goes right through you. So I don't know if that's an effective way to warn people.
Right.
I think they're just misused. I think they do have a place. I mean, there's been tornadoes that have hit small communities in our area where the siren made a difference. That was a signal, and the sounding of a siren a second time was like the tornado emergency for that community. They work in some cases. Where they don't work is when people think they're supposed to wake you up. When people tell me I can't hear the siren in my house, I say, well, that means it's working the way it's supposed to. You're not supposed to hear it inside your house. It's for people that are outside. So the problem, I think, is I don't think we should necessarily get rid of all of them, but people need to learn what they're intended for and what their use is.
Yeah, and then, it's a tool in the toolkit, but it must be applied properly.
Isn't another problem the consistency in the use of sirens too? I mean, if you go from county to county to county, they all have different, you know.
Right, it's not like a weather service generated thing. That's done by just the county.
Local emergency management and other, and also there's some communities that are less covered by sirens. James has talked about this, certain disadvantaged populations that don't speak English and whatnot.
And so we push a weather radio. I mean, it seems like that's a little bit more effective. I mean, not only at home, but at work as well.
Yeah, I wanted to go there, actually, the weather radio. So, yeah, we push that as well because, I mean, as much as people watch 11 Alive or the Weather Channel, they're not always up watching TV, so you need other sources of warning. But what's the role of the weather radio versus apps on our phone now? I know I have the Ready Georgia app, and I have the FEMA app, and some other apps that alert me, Red Cross tornado. But I mean, do you see one as more valuable than the other? I mean, Chesley,
I think the weather radio, you typically have it right by your bed. And so at nighttime, where we receive here in Atlanta, you know, most of the thunderstorms, severe thunderstorms, tornadoes happen at nighttime. You have it right by your bed. It's almost like an alarm clock where it will wake you up.
Yeah.
And so that's yes, yeah. And you should set it where it would wake you up. Typically, you kind of leave it there and you don't know it's there until something happens. And so that's a good alarm just to jar you a little bit.
Yeah, we tell people they need multiple layers of warning information. Right. You can't bank on your cell phone doing it all, because if you lose service or you don't charge your phone or whatever, that's not going to work. So weather radio, cell phone apps, television, sirens, all of them have a place, but you have to have redundancy. And I tell people at least 3 different ways to get a warning.
Let's talk about a new warning technique that's out there now, the new risk categories that the Severe Storm Prediction Center is issuing. You got, I mean, the categories where you were talking about them, and I've heard people say, well, why is enhanced behind or in front of moderate? What are your thoughts on that, Rick? What do you think?
It's a new thing. It's kind of still experimental, and there's some confusion about it, that people have different interpretations of what those words mean. Some think enhanced is worse than moderate or high, and some think marginal, don't know what that means. So we're having some growing pains with it, and we'll continue to gather feedback on it, look at it. The point of the system is to get people to take action and to be aware aware, and the last thing we want to do is confuse people with that. So I hope we can work around that.
Any additional thoughts on that?
You know, we come from the school of, you know, more information. So we look at it as a good thing. I think, you know, typically when you talk about a slight risk, when it used to be just a slight risk, you know, you could get severe weather and a slight risk, but that sounds like it's not going to be that bad. So stretching that out a little bit, maybe a good thing, but I think it needs more education.
Yeah, and I think that's, you know, a good point where we should draw this to a close. But this notion, we try to raise some of these issues that we just as professionals here coming up in our discussions, because we really care about saving lives. I know everyone up here cares about that, and so thank you both, all three, for joining us. Continue to follow us on Twitter, WX Geeks TWC on Twitter. We also have a Facebook page. See you next week.
Husband and a real good dad, but weeds just make me rattlesnake mad. Well, Roundup has a sharpshooting wand. I'm sending them weeds to the great beyond. Roundup. Yeah. No need to pump, just point and shoot. Hit them in the leaves and it kills to the root. Round fences, trees, even mulched beds, because the only good weed is a weed that's dead. Roundup. Yeah. Roundup. Yeah. With a one-touch wand.
Take me So that's our loyalty program. You're automatically enrolled, and the longer you stay, the more rewards you get.
Great.
I'll stand by you.
Won't let nobody hurt you. Isn't there a simpler way to explain the loyalty program?
Yes.
Standing by you from day one. Now that's progressive.
Shopping for the family used to cause a lot of stress between me and my budget. But thanks to Fingerhut, we have found our happy place.
Life is definitely sweeter.
Click on over to fingerhut.com and get the credit you deserve to get all kinds of great stuff for the family.
When the moment's spontaneous, why pause to take a pill? Or stop to find a bathroom? Cialis for daily use is approved to treat both erectile dysfunction and the urinary symptoms of BPH, like needing to go frequently, day or night. Tell your doctor about all your medical conditions and medicines and ask if your heart is healthy enough for sex. Do not take Cialis if you take nitrates for chest pain, as it may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Do not drink alcohol in excess. Side effects may include headache, upset stomach, delayed backache, or muscle ache. To avoid long-term injury, get medical help right away for an erection lasting more than 4 hours. If you have any sudden decrease or loss in hearing or vision, or any symptoms of an allergic reaction, stop taking Cialis and get medical help right away. Ask your doctor about Cialis for daily use and a free 30-tablet trial.
My feet felt so heavy at the end of the day.
They used to get really tired.
Until I started gelling.
I got Dr. Scholl's massaging gel insoles.
When they're in my shoes, my feet and legs feel less tired.
It's like walking on a wave.
Dr. Scholl's massaging gel insoles.
I'm a believer.
Meet Ron, a big guy with a big heart. His mom would agree. When Ron took her in, unexpected medical bills followed, and things got a little out of hand. That's when he reached out to Rise, with cash in your account as soon as tomorrow, and rates that go down over time, letting Ron focus on what matters most.
Seconds.
Rise, with $500 to $5,000 in your account. Tomorrow's looking up.
Climate change, of course, has a lot to do with the Middle East, more than people realize. After all, Syria experienced the worst drought in its modern history from 2006 to 2010. Those were the 4 years leading up to the Syrian revolution. 1 million Syrians swamped all the major Syrian towns and cities. These farmers and herders did not start the revolution. They were very eager to join.
The Weather Channel presents 25 Unexpected Voices. Hear their stories at climate25.com.
Currently in our area, 85 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Today, abundant sunshine. High 91. Winds east at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight, a few passing clouds. Monday, partly cloudy skies. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 91. Here's our 7-day outlook.
matter of seconds, your life can change.
Where kids still went to school.
And it just hit us.
This was it.
The Weather Channel's most watched original program is back.
Things were just going everywhere. It was a nightmare. And then it was silent.
This is just the beginning of what's to come.
Tonight, on an all-new episode of Fat Guys in the Woods.
In the middle of a desert. Oh man, we're gonna die.
To say this is difficult is an understatement.
Whoa!
What does that taste like? Oh! A new episode of Fat Guys in the Woods, tonight at 9, only on the Weather Channel.
Thank you for joining us today. I'm meteorologist Maria LaRosa. We have a very special half hour ahead called Weather 2050. But first, let's take a look at the weather that's happening right now. And there's a lot of active spots we'll be tracking. Of course, all the heavy rain in New England. We have some thunderstorms along the Red River Valley. But right here along a front, already some severe weather producing large hail. We'll start here with this warning for Audrain, Montgomery, and Pike counties out until 11:45. History of producing some quarter-size hail and heavy rainfall as it drifts off to the east. This cell right here had a warning earlier, no longer warned, but plenty of lightning and heavy rain and riding just to the north of I-70. And that's going to be a problem. We're also concerned about some training where you have the thunderstorms rolling over the same area over and over like this one. And so we're concerned about the flash flooding. This warning out for Clay County, capable of producing large hail here as well. And this one, golf balls to baseball size hail possible. Frankfort, Marysville, and Vermilion out until 12:15 Central Time. Dangerous storms with gusty winds possible today. Those areas in red all the way from Buffalo to Kansas City. Later today, Rapid City, Bismarck, and Sioux Falls. Now, earlier this week, Pope Francis released a message to the world, a call to action to reverse climate change. The Pope asking the world to welcome his papal letter on the environment, saying in a public audience Wednesday, quote, "This is our home. If it is ruined, it damages everyone." The document discusses everything from pollution to a, quote, throwaway culture that is damaging what the Pope called our common home. In light of the Pope's message, we are doing a little something different this half hour. We are going to re-air parts of a special climate show we did back in September. The special examined what the weather might look like in 2050. Let's take a look.
Rising sea levels, heat waves in the Midwest, and a devastating drought. The Weather Channel answered an international challenge to envision a forecast more than 3 decades into the future. And with the help of an unmatched team of experts, we examine the changing weather of a changing world. Tonight, we show you how that vision came to life.
From the Weather Channel headquarters in Atlanta, you're watching a special edition of Weather Center Live, Weather 2050.
And as a call to action, the World Meteorological Organization challenged media around the world to imagine a forecast for September 23rd, 2050. Our contribution took months to research and create. Here it is.
Good morning, and thanks for joining us. I'm Sam Champion, and welcome to the Weather Channel. It's Friday, September 23rd, 2050. And here's a look at today's top stories. Hurricane Kyle is tracking way offshore, but still, Miami's South Beach is underwater. Will this deadly Chicago heat wave ever end, following a brutal summer with record temperatures? Another town dries up as the mega drought in the Southwest continues. And Destination Arctic Circle, why it's becoming the place to go. Let's get started with Hurricane Kyle and storm tracker Jim Cantori in Miami's South Beach. Jim, wow, no sign of landfall, but you're standing in water.
Hey, Sam. Yeah, Kyle is about 400 miles offshore, and coastal flood warnings have been issued. Tides running about a foot above where they normally would be, and they're expected to go higher. I mean, a storm that's over 400 miles offshore would never be a problem many decades ago. But now that we have sea level rise, even a storm as far as 400 miles offshore can still cause big problems like you see here. I'm standing in 18 inches of water. The tide is going to come up to about here at its worst point, and then the storm is going to begin to move away, and obviously the tides are going to retreat. Let's take a look at the latest statistics that we have on Kyle for you right now. Winds are at 110 miles an hour. It's currently 400 miles east of downtown Miami. It is moving north at 5 miles per hour. Now, it's these northeast winds that are wrapping around the center that are actually pushing the water back into the Florida coastline. That is our problem. The storm will move out to sea, as you can see here from the track, between the Carolinas and Bermuda. So Kyle's expected to remain offshore and not landfall in the United States. That's the good news, but impacts will remain through the weekend. Sam, back to you.
Thanks, Jim Cantore. Now, as Miami deals with flooding, Chicago is feeling the heat. Ironically, this is the first full day of fall, and this is day 5 of triple-digit temperatures. This late-season heat wave puts us on pace for the hottest September on record. If it verifies, it will be the 3rd warmest September in the past 12 years. So let's take a look at the forecast temperatures for today. At Navy Pier, 96 degrees, just a short walk to Michigan Avenue, and the temperature jumps to 99. Willis Tower will top out at 101, and Wrigley Field, 99 degrees. The heat is a huge factor in tonight's Cubs game against Canada's Alberta Clippers. Edmonton, like many northern cities, is one of the fastest growing right now, due in part to the pleasantly mild fall temperatures in the upper 60s. The Cubbies are playing at night to avoid the hottest part of the day, but even so, temperatures at game time will be in the 90s. The mega drought in Arizona has claimed another casualty. Meteorologist Stephanie Abrams joins us with more.
That's right, Sam. The Southwest has become a tough place to live thanks to a drought that's plagued it for much of the last 50 years. Dinshaw, Arizona is the 4th and largest town to go dry in the last 5 years, and it's only going to get worse. This mega drought is about to claim more cities. Redwall, New Mexico, Rayview, New Mexico, and Cramacos, Texas are now on the list. They're all dangerously close to running out of groundwater, Sam.
Thanks, Stephanie. But if there is a plus, some of those dry lake beds are now being used as solar farms. When we come back, a nearly ice-free Arctic this time of year means a whole lot of new industry for cruising and crude oil. And the winner is Anchorage, Alaska. The 2060 Summer Games are set. More on why it's now the perfect host city.
All right, Sam, thank you so much. When this special edition continues, a taste of what you thought of the 2050 forecast. And the experts behind it explain the science they used for our futuristic vision, including why so much focus on the rising sea levels. Plus, how the military is dealing with climate change. That's all coming up. But first, I want to bring you some breaking weather, some thunderstorm warnings to let you know about. This one continues northeast of Kansas City, out for Clay and Ray counties, Kearney and Lawson for you out until 11:45. Large hail, damaging winds, and now a flash flood warning as well.
Currently in our area, 85 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Today, abundant sunshine. High 91. Winds east at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight, a few passing clouds. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. Low 78. Monday, partly cloudy skies. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 91. Here's our 7-day outlook.
In a world of fake, fried, and frozen, Boston Market promises to make food good. Like our all-natural rotisserie chicken. Now, meals start at just $6.99. Boston Market, all good.
6 smoky hours, 1 tasty dish, slow-braised pulled pork, now at Boston Market. If you're an adult with type 2 diabetes and your A1C is not at goal with certain diabetes pills or daily insulin, your doctor may be talking about adding medication to help lower your A1C. Ask your doctor if adding once-a-week Tanzium is right for you. Once-a-week Tanzium is an injectable prescription medicine that may improve blood sugar in adults with type 2 diabetes, along with diet and exercise. Once-a-week Tanzium works by helping your body release its own natural insulin when it's needed. Tanzium is not recommended as the first medicine to treat diabetes or in people with severe stomach or intestinal problems. Tanzium is not insulin. It is not used to treat type 1 diabetes or diabetic ketoacidosis and has not been studied with mealtime insulin. Do not take Tanzium if you or your family have a history of medullary thyroid cancer or multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2, or if you're allergic to Tanzium or any of its ingredients. Stop using Tanzium and call your doctor right away if you experience symptoms of a serious allergic reaction, which may include itching, rash, or difficulty breathing. If you have signs of pancreatitis, such as severe stomach pain that will not go away and may move to your back, with or without vomiting. Or if you have symptoms of thyroid cancer, which include a lump or swelling in your neck, hoarseness, trouble swallowing, or shortness of breath. Before using Tanzium, talk to your doctor about your medical conditions, all medicines you're taking, if you're nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant, and about low blood sugar and how to manage it. Taking Tanzium with a sulfonylurea or insulin increases your risk for low blood sugar. Common side effects with Tanzium include diarrhea, nausea, injection site reactions, cough, back pain, and cold or flu symptoms. Some serious side effects can lead to dehydration, which may cause kidney failure. Ask your doctor if adding once-a-week Tanzium is right for you. Go to Tanzium.com to learn if you may be eligible to receive Tanzium free for 12 months. Make every week a Tanzium week.
Bridgestone's revolutionary drive car tires are engineered to take a puncture and drive up to 50 miles on a flat.
I feel unstoppable, like a superhero.
With a sidekick.
Yeah, you're my sidekick, right, bud?
No.
Okay.
And just like that, the snow is gone. And parkas become jackets. And sweaters go down for a long nap. And off you go. And your backyard gets a whole lot bigger. And you're running and climbing. And your gear gets lighter and trimmer and fitter and smarter. And now every frozen second spent willing this day to come is just a warm, fading memory.
The most legendary name in paint is now at Lowe's.
What is his name?
Oh, it's HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams.
Is he more famous than me?
It's the name everyone wants on their wall.
Well, now there's room for all of us.
Sure.
Back to the happy tree?
But nothing looks better on ceilings either.
Come again?
So if you're looking for the most legendary name in paint... What? I said if you're...
I can't hear you.
Never mind. HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams is now at Lowe's.
My feet felt so heavy at the end of the day.
They used to get really tired.
Until I started gelling.
I got Dr. Scholl's massaging gel insoles.
When they're in my shoes, my feet and legs feel less tired.
It's like walking on a wave.
Dr. Scholl's massaging gel insoles.
I'm a believer.
Oh, yeah. Virgin Islands, nice. So nice. So nice. So nice.
Book 5 nights today and get one free, plus $350 towards shopping, dining, or other fun activities. Now that's Virgin Islands nice.
So nice. So
More of our special look at the weather in 2050, but first, the weather right now is active. Some dangerous storms still going as we go through the next few hours, also putting down a lot of heavy rain. So let's first hit up the storms that are sort of lining themselves up just to the north of I-70 through Missouri between Kansas City and St. Louis. This one in particular producing golf ball size hail on top of that torrential rainfall. So the flash flood warning is in effect for Clinton, Ray, and Clay counties. has already fallen only in about the last 3 hours. So you do the math there, that's about 1 inch per hour rainfall rates here. So watch some flooding on the roadways. That'll continue the next few hours, that line to be pretty active. Also watching the remnants of Bill move out of the northeast. So that's the good news, but you see by the afternoon behind it, some scattered showers and thunderstorms. So heading out to lunch and dinner with Dad today, just be aware of that, or the beach as well. And then the severe threat all the way from Buffalo to Kansas City, and later today, Rapid City, Sioux Falls, as well as Bismarck. All right, now back to the Weather 2050 show. We showed you some people in Atlanta, the 2050 video, and got their response to what the world might look like.
Hey, I work for the Weather Channel, and we produced this cool video about what the weather might look like in 2050, the year 2050. What was the oh wow moment for either of you in the video?
I think seeing the southern states just as endangered cities. Yeah. You know, no groundwater. That's really scary.
Wow. So does this seem realistic to you?
Yeah, why not?
There you go. Surprised at all?
Yes. I worry about this, actually. What do you think we're going to do if this actually truly happens?
Thanks, Stephanie. But if there is a plus... Scary. What was the biggest oh wow moment for you?
Drought. I mean, people don't have any water. How are we going to live?
Do you think everyone should see this video?
I do. I do. I think they should. It's, you know, you got to leave some for your future generation. We got to figure out what that is or how to do that.
Now, Storm Tracker Jim Cantore goes in depth on how our experts came up with the Weather 2050 scenarios.
What will the weather look like 36 years from now? It was a challenge that was put before a small group of international media by the United Nations World Meteorological Organization.
So a team of us here at the Weather Channel looked at international, national, and even city-specific climate projections into the future and used that as a guide to try and represent what that weather might look like in 2050.
More exact, look at the weather for September 23rd, 2050. And we took it very seriously.
We looked at sea level rise, heat waves, and even focused on the drought in the Southwest.
Those are the three areas where we expect climate change to really cause major impacts on people.
And the Southwest has become a tough place to live thanks to a drought that's plagued it for much of the last 50 years.
How did we come up with our scenarios? It was based on peer-reviewed science and not opinion.
And decided, let's take those projections that are usually presented in the form of an average and add the noise on top of it, the day-to-day weather, and present that to people so that they'll see what they might actually be experiencing come 2050.
For example, as far as the heat goes,
by the end of the century, the climate will warm by between 3 and 8 degrees Fahrenheit.
We chose to highlight Chicago.
They're going to be seeing some increased temperatures in the future. Typically now they get about 5 days a year where the temperature might creep above 95. By 2050, it may be a dozen more than that.
And hurricanes?
It's currently 400 miles east of downtown Miami. It is moving north at 5 miles per hour.
We expect the strongest storms to get stronger. And because sea levels are rising, even if those hurricanes don't hit land, they're still expected to push larger storm surges ashore and cause the kind of flooding that we saw in the video. There won't necessarily be catastrophes every day like maybe you hear about in the news, but there will be ongoing effects that will have significant impacts on people. Hotter heat waves, more intense droughts, and potentially stronger storms.
In the video, today's climate predictions became tomorrow's weather. As those predictions change, so too, 36 years out, could that weather? I'm meteorologist Jim Cantore.
Jim, thanks. Coming up on this special edition of Weather 2050, how the military is dealing with climate change, plus the science behind the making of this show and what our experts of meteorologists think the weather will be like in 2050.
Walmart's low prices every day, it's not just about having more savings, it's about having more fun. Great get-togethers start with low prices you can trust every day.
The Sea-Doo Spark. It's bringing the fun your family has been dreaming of. Easy to own and a thrill to ride. But the biggest rush is realizing you can own one now. The Sea-Doo Spark, starting at $49.99. Every auto insurance policy has a number. But not every insurance company understands the life behind it. Those who have served our nation have earned the very best service in return. USAA. We know what it means to serve. Get an auto insurance quote and see why 92% of our members plan to stay for life.
A new episode of Fat Guys in the Woods, tonight at 9 on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 85 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Today, abundant sunshine. High 91. Winds east at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight, a few passing clouds. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. Low 78. Monday, partly cloudy skies. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 91. Here's our 7-day outlook.
It may seem strange, but people really can love their laxative, especially when it's Miralax. It hydrates, eases, and softens to unblock your system naturally, so you have peace of mind from start to finish. Love your laxative, Miralax.
Hey, you working for Nature Made too?
Yup. Go team!
You've heard about friendly probiotics, but why take one that only targets half your digestive tract? New Nature Made Advanced has dual strains that target your whole tract. That's friendly. New Advanced Probiotic from Nature Made.
Amore. Subito.
The all-new Fiat 500X crossover, featuring an available Uconnect system with a 6.5-inch touchscreen and available all-wheel drive. Well-rounded, has never looked so sharp.
Can a protein originally found in a jellyfish improve your memory? Our scientists say yes. Researchers have discovered a protein that actually supports healthier brain function. It's the breakthrough in a supplement called Prevagen. As we age, we lose proteins that support our brain. Prevagen supplements these proteins and has been clinically shown to improve memory. It's safe and effective. For support of healthier brain function, a sharper mind, and clearer thinking, try Prevagen for yourself today.
Behavioral Health of the Palm Beaches Recovery Center for Men provides quality, evidence-based treatment to men battling addiction. Offering medical detox, expert counseling from licensed clinical therapists, and activity-based therapies, we help men overcome their addiction and rebuild their lives. We understand the unique substance abuse issues that men face and are ready to help you take your life back. Visit rehabformen.com to get your fresh start.
If you want the best of baseball all season long, Xfinity from Comcast gives you the best seat in the house. With MLB Network, you get 5 live games a week, with 24/7 insider coverage and live look-ins every night. Plus, with the X1 Sports app, you get easy access to live scores so you can keep track of games around the league. Upgrade to Digital Preferred TV to get MLB Network for a great low price. Call 1-800-XFINITY or visit Comcast.com/sports today.
You know, America, what a great country we live in. Only in America are you free to go express
And cheer for anyone you want.
in the greatest sport in the world. America, start your engines.
NASCAR makes its triumphant return to NBC Sports on July 4th weekend.
We'll have more more on our special look at the weather in 2050. But first, the weather right now active once again along a boundary. We've been tracking some of the severe warnings, also flash flood warnings. These are heavy rain producers along with producing some hail. This one in particular, Clay, Clinton and Ray counties as it moves into Missouri north of Kansas City. Rainfall rates in here approaching about an inch an hour as it moves off to the east. So watch for quickly rising water. This severe thunderstorm warning, Brown and Nemaha counties for Seneca, that's you 12:15 Central Time, capable of producing golf ball size hail along with the heavy rain. But it's also into the Midwest. We'll keep an eye on for some of those showers and thunderstorms, especially by the dinner hour. You can see moving into St. Louis and central Illinois, south of Indianapolis, and perhaps by later tonight into Louisville. Now, as the Pope mentioned earlier, climate change impacts us all. The Weather 2050 show continues now with another group examining what the environmental impacts will mean.
It doesn't cost more to deal with climate change. It costs more to ignore it and to put our head in the sand.
And this is a special edition of Weather Center Live, Weather 2050. And I'm joined in studio by our experts right now. And we're going to start right now with a critical statement. And there are a few tweets like this we've been seeing. This one reads, "Climate change is still a theoretical idea with no concrete data to support it. Mother Nature continues to disprove it." And we're going to start with Carl, who's going to discuss the science that's used for this. But Carl, first, a couple of questions for you. When you hear a statement like that, what is your reaction? And then how do you respond?
Well, you know, the science is very solid, and we really have to defer to climate scientists on this question. And there have been multiple studies showing what climate scientists believe, and we can show you a few of those studies. And they all indicate that the vast majority of climate scientists do believe in the central tenets of what is called AGW, anthropogenic climate change or global warming. That means human-caused global warming. And so the overwhelming majority of climate scientists believe this. And the thing that really strikes me about this is the fact that scientists are generally conservative when they're putting out their findings. And also the scientific process is a really rigorous process. And I know you know all about this.
Yeah, scientific publications go through a review process with independent external reviewers, anonymous reviewers that look at that. They're critical. If they say that this doesn't make sense, it does not get published.
Yeah, absolutely. I think many of us up here have gone through that peer-reviewed research where we submit a paper, the paper goes through that review by a number of scientists that are experts in the field, and it doesn't go out until it comes back and our scientific process is proven. Exactly.
Yeah, I can tell you I've had almost as many rejected as I've had accepted papers. Yeah.
So the bottom line is you have to say, okay, let's say it's not 100% certain, but since the effect is potentially cataclysmic, how likely does it have to be before you take action, right? When something is really bad, even if it's 50%, if it's 40%, you still have to take action. And that's why there's such a press to take action.
Let's stay down here for the next question. And the next question on Twitter is from Miguel Ortiz. And he asks, should I stay in coastal Florida long term or should I move? And this is for senior hurricane specialist Brian Norcross and storm surge specialist Michael Lowry. At least you get to start the discussion.
Okay, well here's the bottom line point is that the biggest threat in coastal Florida, that's seeing these consequences.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today for our special look at the weather in 2050. Highway Through Hell is up next. I'll be back for another update on the national weather picture. Hope you have a wonderful afternoon and a great Father's Day.
Currently in our area, 85 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Today, abundant sunshine. High 91. Winds east at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight, a few passing clouds. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. Low 78. Monday, partly cloudy skies. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 91. Here's our 7-day outlook.
I'm meteorologist Maria LaRosa. Let's get you a look at the weather making headlines today. And we've got the severe weather across and just north of I-70 between St. Louis and Kansas City. This one putting down a lot of rain, triggering a flash flood warning. Clay, Clinton, and Ray counties for you. Maybe as much as 2 to 3 inches has already fallen, and it's right across I-35. So watch for that quickly rising water on the streets or maybe some smaller streams and creeks. And then this severe thunderstorm warning continues for Brown County out until 12:15 Central Time, capable of producing some golf ball size hail along with the heavy rain threat. Also developing later this afternoon as it moves into parts of the Ohio Valley. So as you watch the clock, by about 5 o'clock through St. Louis into Evansville, we'll give a heads up later tonight towards Louisville and into Paducah. Meanwhile, the severe threat continues across the Ohio Valley today. Also the northern plains where the tornado threat exists, a 3 out of 10 for portions of southern North Dakota and northern South Dakota.
This time, on the highway through hell, the Coke is hammered by a vicious winter storm.
Ooh, she's crashed pretty good. Hey, don't go under there.
With the crew knee-deep in snow and wrecks. Patience on the mountain.
Guys, let's get out of here.
Runs thin.
If you see me looking at something and going, we're in trouble. Guys, jackknifing right now. There's going to be a crash here.
But when a big truck carrying dangerous cargo crashes...
What's he got in there?
Heavy rescue has to put the family fight on hold.
He got nerves of steel, man.
And find a fix fast.
That was scary.
In the rugged mountains of the Pacific Northwest, there's a highway like no other. The Coquihalla is an engineering marvel. But when the weather turns bad...
Look out! It's like the Bermuda Triangle of truck accidents.
Keeping the Coke open takes an army.
When the highway shuts down, the world shuts down.
And a last line of defense.
En route.
A heavy rescue team ready to tackle any disaster. Because here, closure is not an option. On the steep climb to the summit of the Coquihalla Highway,
These vehicles must be out of here right now.
Mother Nature has unleashed a fierce winter storm. But a fleet of plows and sanders are refusing to let the blizzard take the mountain.
Once they get the canyon open, it'll be a lot better.
The few semis that have decided not to call it a night have chained up for battle and are pushing their way over the summit. It's a good night on the mountain. But down in the valley, where it's much warmer and raining,
we have an MBI involving the bus.
One bus in a semi?
a load of passengers just survived the scariest ride of their lives.
Eastbound or westbound?
The bus was ripped open by a semi.
5
A lot of times when you get called out, you have no real idea of what you're going to.
Jimmy Davis en route.
The highway needs to be open in a hurry, so you just have to be prepared as much as you can when you leave the yard.
Channel X5 Alpha to Jimmy Davis on scene.
You're the guy who's supposed to be the end-all to end-alls on that job site. And one thing I've learned in this business, even if you don't know what you're doing, you should look like you do.
Somebody call a tow truck here or what? Holy
Wow. It looks like there's no real serious injuries here, which is amazing for what this could have been. The bus is ripped right open down the side of it.
The bus is in the middle of the highway. The overnight freight runs are at a standstill, and more trucks are lining up every minute.
Is it okay or not?
Tractor trailer, I don't know if it's towable or not. I'm not sure. I haven't really took much look at that.
This thing here, a guy could probably hook onto the front end and just take the whole works, right? What do you think of that?
Well, the bus still runs and moves, believe it or not.
Really?
Jamie has called out the entire crew, including his two most senior guys, Kevin Ritchie.
Go back a bit? Yeah, right there.
And lead driver Adam Gazzola.
Well, these people are pretty lucky, really.
They decide to use a new custom-built low bed.
Beauty. Everything works.
Like a rolling adjustable ramp. The low bed is designed to piggyback vehicles from a crash site.
Okay, now the next problem is getting it on.